We had a client that we worked with, and she was really struggling with profitability. She kept raising tuition. She actually did 3 tuition increases within a 15-month cycle, and she still could not catch up. So I helped her work with our 6 money leaks in schools, and she only used 3 of the 6 money leaks and cut her expenses by 50%. 50. She did not fire anyone. She did not slash any of her programs, and she did not work more hours. Again, the 6 money leaks are not hacks or spreadsheets. These are patterns. They are small decisions that feel so normal that your school does, but they quietly drain your school's profit. So if you've ever wondered why you're working so hard, but still not seeing the return, this is your first step to clarity. Click the link in the show notes and find out what it's actually costing you. Welcome to the Schools of Excellence podcast, a place for insightful conversations about building sustainable schools of excellence. Join me each week as we explore the importance of leading with your values, creating impact, and leaving a lasting legacy. My goal on the show is to provide you with clarity, elevate your mindset, and equip you with practical strategies and inspiration. I'm Chani Wolshansky, a proud mother of 4, a former New Yorker, now savoring sunny Florida vibes. With a professional journey spanning 18 years across all levels of school leadership, I bring nuanced insight that delve into the intricate details of running a center, as well as the broader visionary aspects of leadership. Thank you for joining me for this conversation. Let's build a legacy of excellence together. Today I'm sitting down with Kathy Gray. She is the owner of 5 locations in Richmond, Virginia. And Kathy has been a longstanding client way back since 2019. Kathy and I have had a lot of conversation around her leadership journey. She isn't new to the field at all. She's actually been in it for almost 3 decades at this point. Her daughter's in the business. She's really looking at legacy and exit strategy and kind of what is the next chapter of her life going to look like. And today's conversation is full of just so many nuggets of what experience really does as you evolve in this industry, things that she wished she knew when she was younger, the beautiful transition point that she's finding herself in, and the many strategies and systems that she's implemented with her journey in schools of excellence, both from an ownership position and also in our team supporting her directors and her leadership and her regional management. Kathy has been to a number of one of our retreats, several of them way back when we were in New York City and also in Florida. So this conversation is just full of just a great, enjoyable conversation and meeting of the minds. So if you are listening to this, whether you're driving or, grabbing a cup of coffee or cup of tea, I hope you find some nuggets and some joy in today's conversation.
Hi, I'm Kathy Gray. I'm located here in Virginia, right outside of Richmond, actually between Richmond and Williamsburg. I have 5 locations and I've been in business for about 20 years.
Yes, right. Kathy, you and I met in 2019 is when we first connected with each other. And I'd love for you to take us back to 2019. What was going on in your centers at that time when we first connected?
So 2019, geez, I think I probably had 3 centers at that time.
Mm-hmm.
And I was really looking to systemize my processes and all kind of the back end. But then I met you. I think I went to one of your sessions at a summit or something, a larger venue anyway. And I was just blown away by your intuition or maybe your ability to change somebody's mindset. And I was like, oh, I need to connect with her because really taking lead, I guess I never thought about leadership as a skill. And then after attending that, I was like, I need to connect with her. I need to be a better leader because if I'm a better leader, then my staff will be better for the kids.
Yeah, we had met you came in January to Brooklyn where we did that small owners retreat. And that's what I met Annie for the first time as well. So I'd love for you to talk to us a little bit about how running, 3 centers and then, opening 5 locations. I know you're opening another one. How over the years that has impacted your quality of life, some of just your personal relationships, and then where you are today and how you've put so many new boundaries and infrastructure in place to really protect who you are as a leader and as a person, as a wife, as a mom, as a new grandma. So walk us through just where you were and then just the evolution of who you are today.
Oh my gosh, it's been a journey.
Yeah. And I
So
love your journey so much.
I'm sure everybody can relate to this. I was in my business. I was the preschool teacher, I was the cook, I was the van driver. I did all of the finances, I did all the hiring, I did all the touring, blah, 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 all the things. And as we got larger as a company, I had more money so I could hire other people to help me. But I changed my business model because I looked around at everybody and I looked at other centers and other owners, and their directors were just emerged in paperwork and hiring and touring. And so they were responsible for all the things. And sometimes I felt, oh my gosh, how can they focus on the children or their staff? They don't have time. So as we grew, I kept adding. So I had added a financial person, a regional director who took care of the finances. Then I hired an enrollment specialist who did all the enrollment. Then I hired a hiring specialist. Then I hired a trainer to train staff so that my directors weren't bogged down with all of that, so that they can focus on the teachers who then focus on the staff. I mean, on the kids. So
Yeah.
we know if we take care of our teachers, they're going to take care of the kids.
Yeah.
So with that, I was able to um, relieve relieve the pressure of having to be at the centers all the time. So I could practice my leadership skills. I'm really concentrating on growing as a leader, but also being a visionary. So really seeing where our company's going to go, where Kurt and I were going to go. We are getting older. I know I don't look older, but um, how's the second part of our life going to look like?
Yeah. And one of the things that I've loved to that's just been a joy for me to witness is how you've prioritized more and more yourself and your relationship with Kurt and the time that you have with your children and your grandchild. You've really shifted the focus and priority to yes, the centers are important and you work so hard and you pour so much into them. And at the same time, you're always making time for travel and play and fun and exploring other parts of yourself. So I'd love for you to speak to that because I think this is such a important ingredient that's missing in early childhood leadership.
And I think for me, I've learned that from you. And years ago, my mission changed a little bit. I really started focusing on the women in my company who I think all of us have witnessed people that are broken, women that give and never get anything in return, not tangible things, but just peace,
Yeah.
inner peace. And so for me, I couldn't preach to the choir. Otherwise, I would be a hypocrite because I was one of them. I was doing everything. I was raising my kids. I was running a company. I was being a wife. And somewhere along the line, I had to stop and really take a look at myself. And I think you helped me recognize that. And then really started teaching to that to my staff, a lot of work days. And we do a lot of self care things, discussions about that, really focusing. Business can come and go, but your family can't. If I'm going to make time for my family, I'm going to give my staff time for their family as well.
Yeah. What I love about the way you embody so much of your leadership is the way that you practice these values where you really value family. It's not just I'm valuing family, you're really role modeling to your team. This is what great leadership looks like when you invest in yourself, when you pour into yourself, when you take care of yourself and you prioritize marriage and family and your kids. The ripple effect is so palpable. And so I love that you a lot of times I think we don't realize sometimes that we're holding a double standard, that we value family, but then we want our staff to jeopardize certain things or give of themselves. And you have that across the board and it's so commendable.
No, thank you. I think it's really hard as an owner
Yeah,
to facilitate that among your team
sure.
because when somebody calls in sick, the first thing the director's, now I have to go in a room or this is going to mess up my whole day. But I'm very generous with our PTO, and it's for a reason. And so I have to remind them everybody deserves that time. And is it annoying? Yes. Does it change the day a little bit? Yes. But that's part of our mission. We're here to support each other. So it's a work in progress.
Of
We're
course,
still
of
getting
course.
there,
It
but
always will
it's
be.
yeah, and it's been fun to watch my girls grow not only as a team, but
Mm,
as women.
yeah, yeah. And I think that's such a hallmark of just what Creative Critters is about, where you really take young girls and they evolve into these women. And it's been a joy for me to witness some of your directors who are inside of our inner circle and coming in person to see everyone, like, just you can see the transformation happening. So before we get to the in-person retreat, let's talk a little bit about how when you look at the roadmap journey, right? The content inside of our owners HQ portal. So the training sessions on time and culture and site tours, there's so much information. I'd love to hear what are some of the systems or content that have most resonated with you that you've implemented inside of your centers across the board.
So I'm a little obsessed with the whole portal. I visit it very often over and over again. I also probably are your biggest fan when it comes to your podcast and
Thank you.
your strategic advisory. I love them. And actually, your podcast is part of my self care. When I walk every day, I listen to your podcasts, sometimes over and over again. But really taking probably the biggest transformation from those was the time management and really focusing in on how we use our time, where we use our time, what's a priority, what's not a priority. We actually started using a Trello board. So you gave us so many different avenues to focus that we could use, but I'm a little obsessed with the Trello board. We all
Great.
use it in my company and we can interact on that. I've been adamant up to my directors that time management will make or break you.
Absolutely.
So I think that's probably the biggest thing, but there's so many other things that I
Yeah.
could be here all day talking about
Yeah.
those things.
Yeah, sure. So let's talk a little bit about strategic advisory for those that are not familiar with it. If you can share just what it is and why it's been valuable for you during this season.
I'm going to go way back,
So
Connie.
as far back
So
as you want,
years
dear.
ago, so years ago, you used to walk and talk.
Yes.
And I look forward to those I think it was every Monday. It made me,
Yes.
oh, I just loved it. It cracked me up, but you were just real and the knowledge just flew from your tongue. I just loved it. And
Thank you.
so you've grown as well to
Yes.
now the
Yes.
strategic advisory. And I love, so you typically pick a topic that you gather maybe from the Boxer or
Yep.
just having conversations with your clients. And then you teach on it, just brief. I don't know how long they are, like 15
15 minutes.
minutes.
Yeah. Mhm.
People can comment. You visit those comments again and again to really connect with everybody. Again, I just love those. I look forward to them all the time.
Oh, I love that. I love that. Yeah. And I think it's interesting because clients like yourself who've been with us for so many years, not so obviously, actually, I took it as this obvious that, of course, I'm evolving. But as I speak with some of our clients, also, not everyone is evolving and growing. But I think one of the things that are so important to us inside of our company is that I can only take our clients as far as I've gone myself. And so it's important to me to keep evolving and growing and pouring into myself so that I have a constant reservoir to pour into all of you. So it's always beautiful to see that our clients witness the growth that we're doing as well. So thank you for that. When you think of we join the program for one thing and then we get all these other things that start to impact us. I'm curious if anything surprised you that's had an impact on your center or on your life where you're like, gosh, I didn't expect this to have such a great impact.
Oh my gosh, there's probably a million things. But I think, and I say this to you all the time, it's you've taught me to think out of the box,
Mm,
to take your mind and your heart to a totally different place. So it's not always about the finances and the grind and the this and then that.
mhm,
It's really about your mind
mhm.
and your legacy. And I think you really helped me to focus in on that. And by doing that now, I can teach these younger girls to do the same thing. If I could have met you like 25 years ago, you probably, how old? It would have been great. I could have touched so many other people with that
Mm.
knowledge. So I know you'll touch other people for me.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. The mindset, our mind, our soul, and our legacy. I came a couple weeks ago at the time of this recording to Virginia and I got to meet you in person again. And we've seen each other many times in person, so it wasn't the first time, but we got to see each other again. I got to meet your staff. I got to really be in your environment. And I'd love if you can share just when you think of the energy in that room and just the transformations that were happening in there, the vulnerability of yourself and your staff, why are you grateful that you made that investment in your team and what happened in that room?
I feel like they're at the beginning of where I used to be. So they're at the beginning of the Connie makeover mind. They got it. They see you on calls and all the things, but you sitting there with them and allowing them to be vulnerable and safe, I saw a totally different side of them. And I feel like they were surprised. Oh, I never thought to think like that. I also, by you being there, really pulled them together as a team. We're
Mm.
all at different locations. They don't see each other very often. But now I have seen, oh, I called Sierra today, or I was talking to so and so. The guard is down now. They're
Yeah.
real to each other. And I love that.
Mm. I think we've yet to see also just how far reaching that impact is, the fact that they can feel safe with each other and lean on each other. So I'm excited to even see as it continues to trickle
Yeah,
even. I love that.
absolutely.
Yeah. So when you think of some of your big goals that your company has pursued, goals that you've reached, milestones, what are some goals that you currently have right now that Schools of Excellence is supporting you with?
So I think it's going to go back to those values of family as well as self. And I think really kind of bringing those values into our company a little bit more, embedding them, because I think when it's all said and done, your company is nothing without values. And so if I'm the leader of the company, then I need to to communicate those values. You've taught us so many ways to bring values into our company and to embed that. And it's a forever ongoing work in progress. And I think the more we do that, I think we become more, we become a family, I think, a professional family, of course, but it becomes a safe place where everybody shares the same values. And because we have so many younger women on staff, if you ask them what a value is, they didn't even know.
Mm.
They don't even know what their values are. And we've talked about this many times, Hani, about society and how we bring those values back into our world because
Sure.
they've been taken away from us.
Yeah.
And so I think the School of Excellence has really empowered me to share those values with my staff and then work together to embed them every day in our lives.
Yeah. I'd love if we could take that a little further even. I know you guys are a military family and there's so much American pride that kind of really comes from your family and from the school. And I love that because I love this country so much. And I'm curious just how that part of your story impacts the values and just the quality of education that you want to bring into the schools.
So, anybody that's military, they know that your military family is your family for life. They're there through the hard, they're there for the good, all the things. And since my husband is a civilian now, we still embrace the military values, but also the discipline of the military. That we're disciplined in our work ethic, that we're
Yeah.
disciplined in our giving back to our society, to our communities, and trying to spread those values throughout our company. So this year we collected, I don't know, I was telling you the story, so
Yeah.
many
Yeah.
items for the ships that are deployed over by
Yeah.
Israel. We had so much stuff. My husband had it spread all over the UPS store because they couldn't ship it because it was too heavy. And all of a sudden, the whole store is like helping him pack this up, things like that. We do a walk for autism, like really pulling the community in because that's how we grew up. Kurt was young when he was in the military. Like
Sure.
we grew up with those values. They're
Yeah.
ingrained in us.
Yeah. Yeah. I think what's so beautiful is that you take the school has done really well and you guys run a profitable centers and you take what you have and you give and generosity just it vibrates throughout the entire culture. And I love that again, just your story around the military and just generosity, like all of this really plays so much in how you've built your own schools of excellence inside of all your locations. So this is so much to be proud of. So I'm thank you for sharing that part of the story. Sometimes we need an inspiration or we hear someone else's story and I hope that someone who's listening is thinking, where can I give? Where can I show generosity? Where can I give back to my community? Because so much of what we want our legacy is about giving back and paying it forward. So I love that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Of course. So you've been to a number of our different events. I came to your place. You came to New York one time for an event. You've been to Florida to our events. I'd love to hear the most recent retreat that you went to was our small 15-person owners retreat. Can you tell us a little bit about your experience at being at that retreat?
I love, love, love all your retreats for so many reasons. Over the years, there's a million summits and
Yeah.
retreats and this and that, and they're always pretty big. And you go and you get all the tactics. Oh, you can do this for your finances, and you can do this for this. And oh, this is how you can hire better, blah, blah, blah. But when you go to your retreats, I think the biggest one was maybe, I don't know, maybe 30, 40, maybe 50 at the most people. But all the other ones are so small. But even the bigger of the smaller ones were amazing. But you get to be with people just like you
Mm,
and not just sitting next to them, but really with them.
yeah.
I can't describe it. There's so many exercises and things that you do at those to really take you to another, I don't want to say world, but a totally a different mindset while you're
Yeah.
sitting there. What happened with my team? You
Yeah.
become so vulnerable and it's a safe place. And through that, you create your own community. And so we have a little community now.
Yeah, I remember distinctly we were hanging out by the pool one of the last nights and we were all just like talking about so many different things, but I had this like observer moment where I went out of myself for a second. We're just observing and I'm like, this is the magic I've always wanted to create. Like we're all just sitting, hanging out in the pool, talking about life, but everyone just feels so at home. I remember that moment and we were having coffee together and you were talking to other women, but one of the things that I observed specifically at that retreat was when we were creating the mentorship plans and you were masterminding with some of the other owners there. And I'd love if you could speak to just some of the magic that happened there because I remember a lot was going on specifically in your little cohort, if you
I
remember.
just think I
I
do slightly remember, but there's so much value from hearing what everybody else's perspective is.
Mm,
So as we were working through that, so and so would say this, so and so would say this. And then you can see everybody's mind go, oh, I can use that piece. Oh, I can use this piece. Oh, I can do this. I would love to have a follow up on that. Like, where
yeah,
are we now?
yeah.
What happened from that? When we use the Voxer channel to continue those conversations.
Mhm.
And that's the beauty of that small retreat
Yeah.
is that you connect with you connect with those people, but you have time to really brainstorm. You're not rushing to the next session
Yes.
or you're sitting by the pool and hanging out and the conversation just becomes natural. It's an environment that I can't really describe to you
Yeah,
unless you
I
go.
I I say this all the time, and anytime I've asked someone to describe it, everyone has the same out of body experiences. Okay, I could tell you some of this stuff, but you really have to be there to experience it because it
Yeah.
truly is not like any other conference or event because you have to physically be in the room. And that's the beauty of it. You have to physically be there to experience it. I'd love for you to speak to you and I. We know each other for a long time, and recently you enrolled your directors inside of the inner circle, and my team has had the honor of supporting them through their journey. What really prompted you to want to bring your directors into the program, and what are some of the things that you've been seeing as a result of that?
I waited a little while to bring them in because I wanted them to be ready for you.
Yeah.
So I felt you had, for me, I had to have that open mind like, oh, I want to grow, not only with the tangible things, but in my spirit and my mind. So I watched them closely. And all of a sudden, I'm like, you know what, honey? They're ready. And they are ready.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I absolutely 100% see a change in every single one of them.
Mm.
Just, I can use one of the as an example. She came from the corporate world and she was
Yes.
very much a boss. She was a boss. Blah,
Yeah.
blah, 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 blah,
Yeah.
blah, blah.
Mhm.
And I introduced your magic to her. But now with the inner circle, I think I shared this with you. She was having a difficult conversation. I just happened to be there. And so I said, oh, would you mind if I just stayed in here and I'm just going to do my work over here at this desk? And she's, yeah, no problem. The girls were like, yeah, no problem. And I just sat there in awe because everything that you teach about a difficult conversation was just flowing from her. And the magic of the experience, I wish I could have videotaped it for everybody to see because the result was the two staff that were having a difficult time have grown into the best partnership I've seen in a long time from that difficult conversation. So all your little pieces, all your little teachings just create this mindset again that
Yeah.
you can't get that from anywhere but here. And I've been around.
Yeah, I know, and that's why I love hearing you speak because again, you're not 20. You've been around, you've heard a lot, you have a lot of your own wisdom and your own experience, and so I always appreciate when what we have to share actually has this really big impact on you and the company, and I love that story, the difficult conversation. I think it's again, it's such a beautiful moment when we get to watch someone that we're mentoring have that conversation with that level of confidence and to witness the ripple effect of that. It's these beautiful moments that remind us of our humanity, but also of self leadership really works. And when we take the time to invest in us, there is an impact. There is a palpable impact.
I totally agree. And I think sometimes owners, I think everybody in this industry, but primarily owners, we lose ourselves. We lose
Amen.
ourselves in our business. You hear people, oh, I'm working day and night. I'm working 90 hours a week. It was very interesting. The other day, I was working on a new budget for our centers. And so I've been working at it for every day. And then when I come home, I get it back out. One, because I love it. But my husband said, are we going backwards? What's going on? And I said, oh no, it's just a little
Good.
season. It's only going to last 2 weeks and the season's going to be
Look
over.
at
Don't
you.
worry.
I love
And it was so funny because we're going backwards. I said, oh no,
That's
just
so
give me
great. I
two
love that he
weeks.
caught you, right? Like you guys created a different groove where it was like he noticed immediately, 1 second, this is not the new Kathy. The new Kathy doesn't do this kind of stuff. And I
Yep.
love that he and then you were like, no, this is a season. Again, just using the vocabulary that we have inside of the company and just understanding there's seasons, there's chapters for things. That makes me so happy. I love hearing that.
It was very funny.
That's great. That's so great. So I would love for you to share just there are people that are listening to this podcast, obviously, and some of them are considering joining the owners program. A lot of people have considered it for a while and they hesitate to join because of time or money or commitment or whatever it is. What is your message to the person that's listening to this that knows this is the right next step, but is feeling resistance?
So I'll tell you, I've told you this before, you're worth all the money in the world because your wisdom and your ability to teach a totally different mindset is priceless. So I've grown so much, not just as a leader, but as a person, as a mom, as a mentor. I really didn't see those pieces before because you're so bogged down with life and this and that you don't stop to think, what kind of person do I really want to be? And I
Mm.
think over and over it comes to mind, like when I'm gone, what are people going to say about me? Like I want them to say, "Oh my gosh, she had the best mindset." Or she could walk in a room and really make feel like they belong or whatever it is. To really want that for yourselves, to want to grow because growing is everlasting. I'll grow to the day I'm
Yep.
gone.
Yeah.
And I think if you have that, if you're ready for that, to dig deep, and it's hard sometimes when you have to realize, oh, or now my kids are in your little group. So they're like, Mom, I'm like, oh my gosh, you're right. Annie said something to me the other day, and I'm like, oh my gosh, you're so right. Like
She held you
being
accountable to
accountable.
it.
If she absolutely did. And I'm like, this is wrong right here. But I think it will be life changing for somebody. It's been life changing for me.
Thanks so much for joining me in my conversation with Kathy Gray. I hope you learned a lot from this conversation and really found yourself or your team in different moments of what Kathy was sharing as part of her story. And if Kathy's story resonated with you or there are parts of it you're like, I want this for my team. I want to learn these skills. I want some of these strategies. Then I'd love to invite you to apply to our Directors in Our Circle, our Owners HQ program. Link is in the show notes. You could click the link to apply. You'll have a conversation with myself, our admissions advisor, and the goal of the conversation is really for us to see if you are a right fit for the program. So just as much you're going to be looking for, is this a right fit for me? Is this the right season? Is this going to answer the things that I'm looking for? Does this solve the problems that I'm looking to solve? Will this teach me the skills that I'm looking for, for yourself to acquire? We're also looking and saying, okay, are you a good fit for the program? Will you be an amazing fit for our community? An asset for what we talk about inside of Schools of Excellence. Community is such a huge part of the Schools of Excellence brand, how we bring the tribe together so that you no longer feel like you're sitting on an island. So I look forward to seeing your application, reading it, and then jumping on a call and having a conversation with you. Click the link in the show notes, and I look forward to talking to you. If you are loving the Schools of Excellence podcast and have gotten any value out of it for your school, I would love if you can do two things for me. One, subscribe to the show so you never miss an episode. And two, can you please leave us a review? Reviews help other school leaders know that this is the place to learn how to build a school of excellence. And I would be so grateful if you can do that for us. Your help and support makes this show to be able to be listened by the thousands of other school leaders all around the world. Thanks so much for listening, for giving us your time and attention each and every week. And I appreciate that you have joined us. If your accountant has ever told you to cut back on professional development or slash your teacher appreciation budget or your staff development budget just so you could stay afloat, or has told you, hey, you probably can't go invest in that program, please listen. The problem is not that you're spending too much money on your people or yourself or your investment or your support system. It's that your school has invisible money leaks that are draining your profit, leaks that no spreadsheet will ever catch or accountant. So I created the 6 money leaks of schools that show you the 6 core areas that schools lose money every single month without realizing it. If you close even one of them, your profits will start to soar without sacrificing your team. Go get it now and stop blaming the things that are actually building your school.